Yo, what's going on? All right, so I think I'm going to go into the day with a bearish bias. Probably going to be more neutral because we just completed expansion and swept out a bunch of sell side liquidity. So, I mean, it makes sense to see maybe a reversal, but we still have sell side below here. We have this hourly low. So, I'm thinking as long as we inverse this hourly BPR here, we'll probably see that get hit. And then we also have like the daily 50% level below as well. And this does kind of look like the sell side of the curve being put in, right? It looks like we're rejecting bearishly from that weekly SIBI, so it kind of makes sense to see price head lower. Maybe we go run into this weekly VI or whatever. We have that unfilled new week opening gap below, so this definitely could be our draw on liquidity on the higher time frame right now, just based off of everything that I'm seeing. Bearish delivery is very prevalent on the higher time frame. We keep disrespecting bullish media rays and respecting bearish ones. So kind of the thought process I'm going into. But yeah, did I check financial juice? Yeah. So Trump spoke about, I guess, tariffs on Apple and mentioned that it's been difficult to make a deal with Europe, and so they are now placing a 50% tariff on the European Union, which that is why we have crashed 400 points. Um, so yeah, that's gonna start, I guess, on June 1st, and I think that's why we crashed. Thoughts on the prominent high on the daily 20,053.76. It's not on the daily. You mean the prominent low? I mean, yeah, that's. Wait, what are we talking about? 536. Yeah, I don't really see anything around there. Right now, my two liquidity targets are just like basically the unfilled new week opening gap that we had down here, and then this low inside the gap. How do I get access to the PM session? I'm always able to get an AM, but not PM. How can this be fixed? Yeah, so PM is a separate subscription. It's $50 a month. Um, and if you'd like to subscribe and join PM, it's this link here. What's going on, Zebi? We have an hourly SMT. Let's check. Let's check. Let's check. So for all my PM people, the graduation went well yesterday, so that was cool. Only took like an hour. It was only like 100 kids, so that was awesome. I don't really see an hourly SMT. Maybe all the way at the top. Like we had a bunch of SMTs yesterday, so yeah, those ones. Um, but no, not even that. Yeah, I don't really see an hourly SMT. The only one I guess it would be I guess this here. Is that what we're talking about? But like this isn't obvious liquidity, so I don't really think it's relevant. It's just uncorrelated indices yesterday during bad PA. Um, or whatever that was. I'm 23. Yeah, Zebby, that was a pretty crazy trade. I figured that would work, right? We had previous hourly low still intact, so no, that was a good trade. I mean, it's what I was looking for all session. So I mean, I feel like if you just like put the pieces together yourself, I'd lay them all out in front of you, kind of like a puzzle. So shouldn't have been too difficult, but Yep. There's a 50% level at the 4 hour low. Yep, there is. I have it marked out. It's like just around like 625 or whatever. You got off the screen at 310. Yeah, no, that was really unfortunate. Let me actually get this marked out correctly so I know exactly what level it is. So here we go. So yeah, Dodgy's going to be absent today. He might pop in. You know, he's driving down to Florida right now. So that's kind of what's going on. We came down, tapped into that 3 minute. We're still respecting this 2 minute. So in the short term, we are like getting lower time frame bullish delivery, but I think the only reason why we would go up here is maybe to just see a continuation short. I don't know if we're going to be like full on bullish going into the session today. We do have like this 30-second long ish, but yeah, it's just not very good, and we're clearly not in good PA, right? We're struggling to form 1 minute fair value gaps. We're getting this, you know, candles that have bigger wicks than bodies. So I'll probably skip out on it, and if it plays out, it plays out. Um, Ziva, I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I'll restart stream. Give me a sec, guys. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? All right, cool. Well, I like for longs after 20,684 swept. Maybe, you know, it just kind of depends on the reaction we get to taking out liquidity here. Um, but yeah, that's the liquidity level I'm looking at right now. I could look for longs right now theoretically, but I would just want to see like better setups to form to confirm. Oh wait, never mind. We inversed the hourly, so never mind. I'm gonna look for sell side to be it. Um, but yeah, for those of you that are new to AM stream, I will cover for Dodgy every now and then. You know, whether he's on vacation or he has to take a day off for whatever reason. Um, and I normally run the PM streams in the Discord, so this is kind of your opportunity to get a taste of what PM is like, how I kind of educate, how I kind of take trades, and see if maybe it's a good fit for you. If maybe you're somebody that, you know, has a job and, you know, doesn't really, their schedule doesn't really work with AM, but, you know, maybe they still want to trade. And so, you know, maybe PM is a better option for you there. Or maybe you're somebody that's in a different time zone and, you know, you're waking up way too early to get to AM. So maybe, you know, PM's a better option. Um, how good is PM? I think it's pretty good. Normally we get 2 to 4 funded trades a week. I think we get about 3 to 5 during AM, so it's pretty comparable. Bias, I'm short bias, Moita. Yeah, so the bias is bearish right now because we've had this massive expansion to the downside. We violated a bunch of higher time frame PD arrays, and we inversed this last 1 hour here, right? That was holding up price and sent it higher, and we have sell side below still, as well as this 50% level on the daily. And if we start to blast past that, then I would anticipate maybe this new week opening gap to get hit. And then I think it would make more sense to maybe see a soup reaction here at this hourly low, because we did put it in an hourly SIBI, and that's going to be a good draw on liquidity. This is higher time frame unfilled liquidity. So if we were to see a soup reaction here, it might make sense to go back up and see that inefficiency get tapped before heading lower. Yeah, for sure, Harry. I don't know if you caught it, but we had that 1 minute short that played out right after I got off. Um, so unfortunate. The PM session is from 1:30 p.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, so usually when we consolidate for a bit, normally we'll get a clean play at some point. And so, once again, this is now the third time this has happened this week. We went from previous hourly high to previous hourly low, or vice versa. So, where's discount or premium for you? So, yeah, right now we're in discount. If I was to base it off of the current range we're in, you can base it off of two different ranges. Normally, I just look at the 15 minute, but like on the lower time frame, we're probably like just around the 50%, and then on the higher time frame, I'd probably mark it out from this 15 minute, like intermediate term high there to the ITL there, and that's how I'd kind of look at 50. So 20,956. So we're in deep discount right now. So Santi, the way that I like still keep good risk management throughout the day is I will trade one group of accounts during AM, and then once I've gotten a winning or losing trade on that, I'll stop trading them, and then when I come into PM, I'll trade on a fresh set of accounts that I haven't traded on. So it's like I haven't taken a trade yet on those accounts. Is short good if we inverse this 2 minute? No, because we are very deep in discount. The only way I would take a short is if we retraced to like the hourly unfilled gap here and then got like a V-shaped setup to the downside. Because while this is present, this hourly unfilled gap, it's a conflicting draw. And when we have conflicting draws on the chart, I don't want to fade, um, this potential draw. This is a very strong draw. In my opinion, this is the third strongest draw on the market. We have dead highs, equal highs, and then unfilled higher time from liquidity. And then we also have, this obvious low that makes sense to go hit because we inverse that last hourly gap. So um, while we're in between these two liquidity levels, I'm going to wait for one to get swept and then I'll target the other. Could you explain what a soup is in simple words? Yeah, so it's basically no reaction, or let me think. No displacement below or above liquidity. There you go. Do you never sell in discount and vice versa? Yeah, I try not to, Lana. Only time I'll ever buy in premium or sell in discount is if we have like a super strong draw on liquidity. Are we waiting for the hourly sweep? We'll see, but probably. Can you put on the two liquidity targets again? Yeah, so right now my two liquidity targets that I have set are the hourly SIBI here and this ITL here on the hourly, right? This low inside the gap. And the reason why I think right now we're bearish is because we've confirmed higher time frame bearish delivery by disrespecting this bullish 1 hour gap. And so I think it makes sense for us to come down and hit this low. But I also wouldn't be opposed to seeing price come up and hit this 1 hour SIBI, because if we get this 1 hour SIBI and then a nice V-shaped reaction from it, then I'll just use that to target this low. And this is like the third best draw on liquidity on the chart. Is higher time frame unfilled liquidity. So that's a soup? Yeah, it's basically a soup. Do you ever trades an AM session before market open? Yeah, I will. I probably won't today because I think it'll probably be best if we wait for open, but yeah, I will. Um, Not all liquidity sweeps are soups. That's the difference. But every soup is a liquidity sweep. A liquidity sweep can just be like price running down, but like if we displace below the low, then that's obviously not a soup. We do have two Fed speakers this morning, and we also have U.S. home sales at 10. I don't think any of those things are going to matter, to be honest, because the big news announcements that we've had uh, were bond auction, right? I don't think we're going to get that Fed rate decision until next week with the FOMC meeting minutes, and then we just had Trump speak about like a big news event. So like I don't think anything that will be said between those two will really matter. Those two news events. So for shorts, you will not wait for retracement for 50% of the dealing range. Just seek shorts inside the 1 hour FEG. Yeah, yep. So I would like to see 50% get hit, but what matters more when taking a trade is making sure first that you have bias, which is delivery plus draw and liquidity. So your lower time frame delivery and your draw and liquidity have to align in order to have a concrete bias. And then you have to have good momentum, and then you have to have time. And if I have all of those pieces put together, then I don't really need to see the model 100% play out, right? Um, that's kind of why, like yesterday, when we got that first short after the massive pump, that short was so good because we had so many pieces line up as well as momentum, time, and bias all aligned there. What I mean by time, I mean the macro. And if it's not a macro, you don't take the trade. No, I will take a trade. It just has to be A plus, like model wise, right? Like these four components are going to be what you're evaluating your trades like 99% of the trade or 99% of the time on, right? And so you need bias every single time. If you don't have bias, then you can't take the trade. You need momentum like 90% of the time, right? And you need time like only if the model is an A plus. If the model is A plus, then you don't really need time. If you and you have these other two components. Maybe morning considering more volatility and getting a trade or two more but reliable statistics A plus trades so you can re-ask for example. Oh, you're answering this question. Okay. Out of curiosity, is there a difference in performance between the two groups of accounts? Does one do better than the other? So this week, I believe, if I would have stayed on, let me just explain yesterday. So yesterday during PM, we hopped on at 1:30 and we sat on the charts for 2 hours with no trades because we had massive expansion throughout the day. We had two distribution legs, and so we got lucky on Wednesday. We ended up getting like some good quality PA, but then yesterday it was just really choppy for 2 hours. And then finally, after our targets had been hit that I wanted to have hit, um, we got like this really textbook setup, but I was already off the chart at that point because I had like 9 million things that had all occurred at the same time. Like this is very irregular for PM. But I ordered this couch a couple weeks ago, and that got delivered with like 25 boxes. And then I had our new lawn care people show up, which they were supposed to show up yesterday, but we had weather, and I wasn't sure if they were going to show up today, so they just kind of showed up unannounced. And then I had to prepare for my girlfriend's brother's graduation. So there was just like a lot of things that were going on. So I wrapped up stream a little bit earlier than usual, and then we had this like amazing short setup that played out. So accounting for that short setup that we would have taken had I been on the charts, I think PM so far this week is up almost 7R. But me personally, I'm up 5R this week from PM. I risk normally 150 per trade on my Apex accounts, and those Apex accounts are up like 750. So, do I trade full time? Yeah, I do. I risk so little, yeah, because it's a 25K account. You say that, and I'm copy trading them. Would you say that an A setup with bias is a better setup than an A plus setup without bias? Yeah, absolutely. Because we see mechanical A plus trades fail all the time if they don't go along with the bias. 3 minute short, yeah. So got to game my condition for shorts. Need price to retrace in the 1 hour. I drive a Camry. Do I rate setups? Yeah, of course. So I'd risk 300 on 50Ks. No, normally I risk like 250 on 350Ks, but um, I sized a little bit for 200, accounting for that stop loss. Yeah, that would obviously, I would be willing to switch my bias if our delivery became bullish, right? Because currently we have two draws on liquidity, right? And so if we were to sweep out these lows and then get like a bullish reaction, meaning we get like a super reaction to the low, then yeah, obviously I would become bullish and target that hourly SIBI. And then once we're in the hourly SIBI, I'll kind of see that reaction. And if we just continue to be bullish, then that's fine. Usually these tariff news reactions kind of put us in a pretty like trend day condition, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, Dodgy right now is actually I believe driving down to Florida. I'm guessing he'll pop in the call in a little bit here. Want to wait for FOMC speaker just to finish before trading, or just ignore? I'm just gonna ignore them, Rocco. What was the setup yesterday? 1527. Yeah, so the setup yesterday during PM that I unfortunately wasn't able to take was the short, right? And so in PM we actually have our own little model, thanks to Soccer, that we've kind of curated that has like been a really high win rate this week. Um, it's still based off IFEGs, but there's basically like this sneaky little trick. So I'm a gatekeep for the PM people, but if you backtest, you'll definitely be able to notice it. So yeah, there was this 1 minute short that I think was a break-even trade, but then there was also this one, and this is the one that I'd had highlighted going into close yesterday. That I said that if this were to be violated, I would expect price to become bearish because we would be violating multiple bullish PD areas. And so when this got inversed, we had the break even down here because this is a low inside of a fair value gap. And then price never came back to the break even target, and we went to go hit the liquidity targets, which were that low there, and then ultimately this low inside the fair value gap here, and this low. So it was a really, really good setup, just unfortunately couldn't take it. But yeah. What would be your condition for draw and liquidity? Yeah, so my condition right now is basically for one of these draws and liquidity to be swept, either the hourly SIBI or the hourly low down here. And ideally, I think I would like to see the hourly low get swept, and then maybe we get a bullish reaction, 10 a.m. reversal, something like that, and then we get a long, right? Because I'm not really trying to short this deep in discount, and I know a long in discount will be way better, and a 50% retrace would be like price coming back to like the 980s, and I don't think that that's realistic. So I think what would be better and more realistic is if price came down, swept out the low first, and then we got like a long to target the hourly SIBI. And then that would probably be my only play for the day. But yeah, I mean, if we don't get the long after sleeping out the lows, I'd be okay with taking a short too. It's just going to be like less likely of a win because we're shorting in discount. So you have to wait for like bias momentum and time to align in that condition. But yeah, for right now, I'm just waiting for open because right now this price action is pretty uninspiring. Oh yeah, no PM. I'll explain it too for sure. But where's stop loss for that PM trade? The inception gap above. So we had this inception gap here, that formed right. So you would just place your stop above that, like I guess here. So it was really high RR too. That was what was great about that trade. I probably wouldn't have captured all of it, but I definitely would have probably held to here at least. So that was 1.3R, and then I probably wouldn't have scaled till, I don't know, maybe this low here. So average that, that's like 2R, and then final scale would be there. So like in total, this trade is probably 3R, 2.5, maybe 3R. Probably not vert, because at any point we could get like a retracement, right? We're gonna be leaving a lot of like, if that were to happen, we'd be leaving a lot of inefficiencies behind, and I don't really want to fade those inefficiencies. You don't see the difference between bias and draw and liquidity? Yeah, so the difference between bias and draw and liquidity is that draw and liquidity is actually a component of bias. Okay, so bias is draw and liquidity plus delivery, right? And delivery is basically what PD arrays is price respecting and what PD arrays are is price disrespecting, right? So if price is respecting bullish PD arrays, okay, that would be considered bullish delivery. And so you would have to pair that bullish delivery with a bullish draw and liquidity, right? Um, and that can be a number of things, right? That can be like data wicks or unfilled liquidity above. Like right now we have that hourly SIBI, or basically anything that's above price right now that we would consider normally as a draw and liquidity, right? And so that's how you form your bias. What can happen is sometimes we have conflicting delivery where we're inversing price both ways during bad PA. And so when you don't have a sense of the delivery, then there's no bias, right? And so you can have draws on liquidity on the chart and you can assume that price is going to go somewhere, but without a confirmation for delivery, we don't actually know, right? So that's kind of the difference between draw on liquidity and bias. Why you want to sweep hourly low if we already swept big daily liquidity? Because we inverse this hourly BISI to the left, and so it just makes sense to see price go to the next low after we've inversed that. Plus, we're already very bearish, and we're not really showing bullish delivery yet. So yeah, am I trading the half day Monday? No, hell no. I'm taking the day off. I'm new to the Discord on trial right now. Reliable seems like a pretty credible dog. I'm not a signal bot, but if it's coming from a credible source, then I don't care. I'm gonna follow. All right, sounds good. S&P imbalance, great. Could you short the 3-minute inverse? No, I'm not going to. If you're talking about this one already failed. And if you're talking about this one here, that's like, no, it's just way too deep in discount. Yeah, this is good LRLR actually. So yeah, if we put in a couple more taps, I'll be convinced that we'll probably run that. Be another good draw on liquidity well, and unbalanced for value gap on the higher time frame plus LRLR. Yeah, for sure, Jiu-Jitsu. BISI just stands for buy side inefficiency, sell side imbalance, and bullish FEG is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 syllables, and BISI is only 2, so it's just easier to say. Somebody makes a joke every single time I have to explain why I say BISI or SIBI, it kind of negates the syllables that I save for saying it, but I don't really care. It's funny. ES might fill this gap without NQ. I don't think so. They look pretty correlated. 4-hour SMT. Oh, what? Wait, did I not notice that? Huh. Would you look at that? We already hit the low. All right. Well, I guess we might hit the low on the ES then, or the new week opening gap here. We actually already tapped into it, but we haven't filled the gap yet. So yeah, if that happens and we get a bullish reaction, then that's fine. So we got 5 minutes before open now. Why is my ES chart so cooked? I don't know. I gotta fix it, I guess. I gotta go back to probably here and then save layout. Right? And then does that save it? Or do I make a copy and I do like NQ layout? Does that work? I don't know. And then if I go over to here, I'm always looking at ES on my other chart. Yeah, so If I go over here and I do that. Did that work? No. How do I do that? On the chart itself? I thought that's what I did. I clicked on it. Right click, settings, canvas, apply to all? Or do I click template? Apply to all, okay. Oh my gosh, okay. That was almost bad. So if I go here, it's supposed to be on the NQ chart, right? But it's not there now. It's not there. I don't know. I don't really care. It is what it is. So we've tapped into the hourly SIBI now. We got open in 3 minutes. You need to have both open. Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. Well, there we go. Do SMTs work with new week opening gap? Like if you, yeah, because that's like us taking out like an inefficiency, right, on one indicement on the other. But I still bearish for seeing SMT. I don't really know. I guess we'll see the reaction of the hourly SIBI here. If we get a bullish reaction, we start getting bullish delivery. Then yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Our lower time frame delivery is kind of bullish. We never inverse this 2 minute to the. Oh yeah, we did. We never inverse this 3 minute to the left. So I guess while our lower time frame delivery is still bullish, I'll be bullish, but there's not really any good draws in liquidity above. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty neutral today. I don't really know. What do you think if we get this 15-minute IFG and target 50% of the leg? So yeah, this is, I don't know if you guys saw that. Well, actually, no, this isn't exactly the same because we actually could go break even there, but this is kind of like that scenario where there's like a bunch of fair value gaps in the leg and we could end up rejecting one. But it actually isn't really that because there's no real roadblock here on the 1 minute or the 2 minute or the lower time frame here. I mean, there's this 1 minute gap and that close would be 84. So yeah, if we closed over that, we'd be closing over that at the 1 minute. So yeah, I mean, if this 15-minute inverse to the upside, I would expect this 15-minute SIBI to be hit. Is the draw not 20,690? I think it is, right? Like, I think that's the best draw in liquidity on the chart, but we have an SMT there, so it might not be. So I got to base everything right now off of delivery. All right, so here's open. We left equal lows here. If we start to inverse this 1 minute here, that's another sign of bullish delivery. We're disrespecting bearish PD race, so we'll keep an eye on that. I like this 3 minute. We'll keep an eye on this. I think it's an obvious gap. We got another 2 minutes before the close. Very, very deep in discount, but we'll keep an eye on it. 2 minute long looks clean. I don't really like taking these longs where we're longing off the south side of the curve, which is kind of what this is. I would have rather taken it at the extremity of the range down here, but there wasn't really a clean long setup for us. So maybe if we get a long off the same side of the curve, like if we get like a confirmation setup, that could be good. Like if we still got 10 a.m. reversal, guys, where we got like a short out of the hourly here at 10 a.m., like that could be, good for us. I mean, Jason, that's fine, and it's the same idea as like longing and discount, shorting and premium, right? He just has a different mechanic that he uses to like establish it. 2 minute A22, not A plus. It would have been a break even anyway, but actually, yeah, I guess it would have because we didn't close the hourly yet. So sure, but I mean, it's like taking that first inverse after a big move up. Actually, wait, no, it's not. We kind of chopped around for a bit, made a manipulation. Yeah, that's okay. That 2 minutes okay. All right, so we're moving up here with a little bit of displacement. Dream scenario for shorts. I don't really have a dream scenario now right now, guys. I'm just gonna wait for more structure to form. If I see something really textbook, then we'll take that. So yeah, still not forming 1 minute for value gaps. So we have not created a presentation gap yet. So we'll just see. I guess let's keep an eye on this 15 minute. We got another 12 minutes before the close. We're gonna get this 1/2 minute here, I think. If we hit the high, obviously it becomes invalid. Right, so we got 3 seconds. Looks like did we hit it? Nah, so we just barely missed the high there by a couple ticks. So I guess you could enter there, and then that would just be where you'd go to break even, and then it'd probably be a break even trade. I mean, I think the reason why you're going to break even here is because that's a high inside of a 15-second BPR, and so you don't know if that's going to break. So would just be a break even trade there if you entered on the 1 minute. And then obviously, if you try to enter now, it's just invalid. But yeah, we are just pumping up. So I think I'm just going to be bullish here because delivery is now confirmed bullish, and we still have like potential draws and liquidity above here. Unfilled 15-minute CIBI, 50%, whatever. Let's keep an eye on that. I like how this 50% lines up nicely with this 15-minute CIBI. So yeah, gonna be bullish here now. Only way I'd be entering along is if we got like a confirmation setup, like a retrace into an unfilled 1 minute, and then like a V shape back up, inversing like a 30-second or something. All right, well, I guess if you chased along, I definitely would go break even there. It's an obvious high there. We tapped into an unfilled 4 minute. I'm long biased, but we haven't gotten a long setup yet. Yeah, I haven't started from up here. Would the 5 minute have been good? Um, nah, I don't think so. That gap's not really obvious. I think the best long there was probably the 15 minute, but it just obviously never happened because we just pumped straight up. You're bullish? Yeah, for right now, and then once we tap 50%, I'll gauge that reaction. We just tapped into that 50-minute civvy, so we'll see. If we think about wanting to be short today, then this makes sense to become short, as this would be our manipulation leg here during the 9:30 to 10 o'clock, I guess, time frame, which would be our Judas swing, and then we would expect price to head in the opposite direction after that Judas swing. So this is actually really good. Um, I mean, I would have preferred if we'd gotten a long after, price swept out the hourly lows, but this is fine too. The red line is 50%. 50% of the swing. I might look at the hourly 50% here. This looks more obvious of a range. I'll keep an eye on the 15-minute 50. I know where that's at. It's like at 960. So if we get a bearish reaction anywhere from here, I'll be okay with taking shorts, right? I don't need to see 50% get hit. It would be better, obviously, but I think hourly 50% is actually a little bit cleaner because this 15-minute high doesn't really show itself on any other time frame. Maybe the 30-minute, but on the hourly, it becomes completely obscured. It looks really bullish. Yeah, it does. We're creating these, I'm guessing unfilled. Yeah, we created this unfilled 5 below. So maybe we need to see price retrace a little bit, and then we'll see it move back up. Just so you guys know, we only have 2 more days left of this MFFU sale where if you buy an account, you get 2 chances on it or a free reset. And so that's probably the second best deal I've ever heard of with MFFU. The best deal I've ever heard was 50% off for new members, which if you're a new member to MFFU, that's still the case. But yeah, the prop firm is My Funded Futures, or MFFU, and they don't have funding fees. They have the easiest payout rules, I think, and they have a bunch of really good sales happening right now and probably throughout the rest of the month. So if you're interested in trying something out other than Apex, I think they're a really good option, especially since they have end of day drawdown, which is a lot easier to manage than trailing. And personally, I believe they're the easiest prop firm to get a payout on as a beginner. You can trade news on their evals. You can one day pass on their evals. They have daily loss limits on their evals, just like TopStat. Yeah, I think there's an activity rule with My Funded Futures. I think it's once a week or something like that. You can have up to 3 accounts on My Funded Futures. 3 minutes short. I think I'd go off probably the 5 here because the 5 and 3 are about the same. I don't really like how the 5 doesn't have like a singular gap for us to go off of here. Yeah, all these kind of suck. The best play we'd get here is if we got like a manipulation leg up and then got a short. And then we were able to go break even at like an internal low that's created here. Right? And the reason why is because typically 941 isn't really a reversal time. Right? So if we waited for that short to occur up here, price would better align with our typical reversal time. And then we wouldn't have to deal with like all these fair value gaps that would be in the way, right? You know, the 3-minute gaps, the 5-minute, whatever. We could hopefully just deal with a singular like 1 minute or 30-second or 2-minute gap, right? And that would be way better in terms of risk management and way better in terms of like probability that the trade works. When's the reversal time? The macro? So yeah, usually the 10 a.m. Yeah, if you guys want to see that offer, give me a sec. I just have to pull up the graphic for it. But yeah, that's the offer there. If I hit DLL on my MFFU, can I reset that account and get a second account today? Just making the new account close my old one. So DLL is daily loss limit, so make sure rock solid that you don't have any more trailing drawdown left on the account. And then, yeah, you can reset it. But yeah, getting a new account would close the old one. Will the 30% sale return? I don't know. Maybe but probably not for a long time. Is that just for new users? No, the free reset with any eval is for everyone. The 50% off is for new users. Yeah, until your next bill. Vexy. Is there a link? Yeah, it's just if you look at the graphic, it's just my funded futures, and then you don't have to use my code. You can use whichever code, but yeah, that code will get you the discounts that you're looking for. At least Tradeify was easy payout. Nope, never said that. Nope, my funded futures is easily the easiest payout. Starter Plus, I think Starter is the easiest. It's the most it's the cheapest, so I think it's the best value. But is there a consistency rule in MFFU? Yeah, for starter accounts it's 40%. How many accounts is the 50% off for new members? Just the first one. So we're getting this dump right now, which is less than ideal, I'll be honest. This is maybe where we could get that potential long, that confirmation setup. I don't really think it makes sense to see price reverse here. I think it'd make way more sense if we got it during our typical, reversal macro time. So I'm not probably going to take any shorts here because we're still trading in discount of the range. But yeah. Yeah, you can pass an eval with CPI or NFP on MFFU, yep. I like starter sheets. I like the starter. I think it's better value, and if you're somebody that's new to my funded futures, it probably would be better, for you to try them out with something that's maybe cheaper. But there's a lot of people that, are in the Discord that use the Starter Plus also. So it's just kind of up to you. Starter Plus offers a little bit better, I guess, rules as far as like consistency goes, but it's a little bit worse drawdown than the starter account. Yeah, you can have 3 accounts with my funded futures. Do I care about other time frame when entering? Yeah, I do. So we're about to get this potential 3-minute inverse. Did we inverse the 15-minute here? So yeah, we did inverse the 15-minute. So we're getting these. Oh wait, no, never mind. It was invalid though because we hit the high. So disregard. I mean, if we saw a short work here, I don't think it makes sense. I mean, maybe I'm getting married to this 50%. Maybe I don't have to be, but I still hate shorting here when we have multiple gaps in the leg. This is If you guys were in that watching that Kahoot yesterday, this is that exact scenario Dodgy was talking about with the multiple gap thing. What's going on? Not really. I wouldn't say so. We have this short that potentially could play out now, but it doesn't really align with our typical reversal time. And there's a lot of gaps in the leg, which I was just talking about is what you just pointed out in the Kahoot yesterday. Okay. Dang. Yeah, just the one. If you'll Wapo. Yep. Yeah, we already hit those. Today it's gonna be tough because we've already kind of taken out so much and we've already like distributed, and so now I feel like we're just gonna be like waiting for more structure. Oh yeah, Ibra's a huge hater, man. I have it drawn on the hourly. No, we haven't. Um, we almost got to it on the 15-minute bit for sure. I did, and I noticed that said 1404, which is 204 military time. So I think that comment might have been said during PM. I guess I'm breeding haters over there. I don't know what's going on. I'll work on it. Oh no, I'm not going live. Are you kidding? Yeah, I can for sure. Yeah, I'll be there. Low key, I flaked. But if you want me to hop on the schedule, I will. Normally, it's actually supposed to be this week. So, nah, you're good. No, I lost you. He's going through tunnel, guys. Here, text me final details because I literally can't understand what you're saying. You're a little bit robotic right now. But yeah, I think I get the gist. Cover Tuesday, Wednesday, PM is normal. Sunday back test or Sunday journal review, 9 a.m. back test Wednesday. Okay, perfect. So you guys can kind of start to see why I'm not really interested in shorts here quite yet. You know, we're just kind of getting this choppy PA. We're not really forming 1 minute for value gaps. This momentum isn't really all that convincing, and this I would not want to be in a short right now having to deal with this. Drawdown coming back. Yep. Okay. All right. All right, man. See it. Yep. Ideally, Morik. I mean, that would be cool. 15-minute OB. Let's check that out. I don't think. No, there's no way we go all the way back for that. That's like way too far away. I mean, at that point, I'd probably be bullish. No, the OB to the left. So I'm guessing you mean the breaker. I mean, maybe a retrace the hourly breaker, but no, probably not. I'd probably still become bullish if we got all the way back up there. Honestly, ideally, what I'd want to see is like a super this high and then just like V shape back down. That's what I would want to see, I think. By the way, I started watching Severance. Should have been watching the show sooner. No spoilers, please. But yeah, it's pretty good. Just got done with Bert's retirement party. Can you show us how you marked out the 50% level? Yeah, so I just looked at the 1 hour here. I can't read chat because they're posting spoilers. They're being annoying. But yeah, I just marked out the 1 hour, you know, heights and lows that were obvious. Originally, I was basing it off the 15-minute here, but this 15-minute high isn't really that significant on other time frames. Um, so I just basically like uh, marked it out at the hourly high because I thought that was more obvious. Let me just keep getting rid of chat here. Let me just all right. Okay, thanks. uh, haven't seen season 2 yet. Nope. Call it a 100-point player. I'm telling you how it ends. No. Okay, I'll call it a 100-point play. We got news here in about 3 minutes. It shouldn't be that important. It's just like orange folder news. So. Why would the 50-minute be invalid if it didn't hit a swing high? It's because it hit the next fair value gap, Elmon. Right? So, whenever you see this scenario here where we have like a fair value gap that gets inversed, but then we have like a wick here, and then the next fair value gap above that, that next fair value gap is going to be where you usually go to break even. And so whenever you hit that break even point, whether it's the internal high or internal low of a typical IFEG or you hit it here, it just makes the trade go invalid, right? Because this is that like next level of like unfilled liquidity that you would expect price to go to, that next inefficiency. And so when that inefficiency gets balanced before the IFEG closes, then it's like you don't have a spot to go break even at, and you also don't know if we're going to head higher past that point. Does that make sense? How many homes do you think they sold? I have no idea. Hundreds of thousands. Do you watch more series? What? Check the 4-minute, please. I don't really use the 4-minute. I speak fast. Yeah, I got to respond to 700 comments in like 15 seconds. So I'm trying to talk fast here, but I will do my best to enunciate so that you guys can understand what I'm saying. I know we got a lot of international people in here that probably don't have English as a first language, so I apologize to you guys, but I'm recording this session, so if you want to go back and look at anything that I've talked about, that'll be a resource for you. What do I think of 30-second long at 925? Looks like it would be easy break even with equal lows. 925. I mean, just not obvious, like choppy PA. That's kind of my thoughts on it. But yeah, I mean, this is bad PA. We're not really forming 1 minute fair value gaps, so I'm just got to keep waiting. Favorite character so far? I honestly really, really, really like the one dude with the glasses. I can't think of his name. What's going on? Okay. For sure. There's like 9 Brandons. Which one? Oh, okay, okay. Ooh, I know that guy. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. All right, so here's new home sales. Not really anything to comment on yet. We're just still chopping. Nope. I mean, like, kinda, but there's no data low, and I mean, like, I wouldn't really call that a data high. It's not really that big of a wick. No, I didn't. Yeah, for sure. I get that. I get that. Yeah, just gotta stay professional, keep it pushing, ignore the haters. Yeah, keep doing you for sure. Yeah. Dude, you picked the perfect day to take off, man. I'm not gonna lie. This pre-holiday price action is not that great. Gold 1 minute A plus. All right, let's look at gold. Yep. Which one am I doing? Is it XAUUSD or which one? Actually, I gotta focus on NQ. We're about to get a 1 minute short. I think maybe we come up, run the 50%, and then get that short. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna be honest. The 743 and 744, just based on how the candles look, they look like they could be voids. But it's nice because if we go and tap into that 743 bearish for value gap there, it'll be right above 50%. So it actually would work out nicely there. All right, so who's glad they didn't take the 3 minute short here or the 5 minute or whatever short presented itself here? Nice signal, bro. Mikey's calling out plays. Already. Good play, Mikey. Who was that guy? I don't know who that guy was. It's some guy in a car or something. I don't know. Yeah, it was a little wild. Any girl problems? Nah, I've been with my girl for 4 years actually. It's been pretty great. We're coming up on 4 years. Who's the guy on Twitter? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Jason. That was pretty crazy. I don't know why you said that. Oh my god. Why haven't I proposed? I mean, trying to do that soon. How would you react if she said, "What, dude? I'm putting this dude in timeout, man. I'm over it, man. I've been watching his comments all day. He's been doing too much. He's getting a timeout. I'm over it." Uh, all right, so we do have an SMT at this high here. Um, this 2 minute short, yeah. I mean, I like the idea for sure. It would be way better if we got 50%, right? Like Dodgy said. Um, but yeah, I mean, this kind of meets our reversal condition, right? Where we've got a reversal at 10 a.m. We've put in our manipulation leg now. Um, we got our obvious for value gap. I just want to see good momentum through it, and right now we're not really getting that. So if we don't get good momentum through the gap here, I'll probably just want to see 50% get hit, and then maybe we get a short from there. ES at the 50% barely. All right, let's check hourly 50% on ES real quick. Not quite. Not quite. Maybe from the 15 minute, but not from the hourly. And I think the hourly is more important here because that 15 minute high isn't that significant. The 1 minute time frame is not it, bro. This is horrid conditions. I agree. These are not the best conditions. Do I always use the swing for the 50% or sometimes internal pivots? I don't always focus on 50%. Right now, it just kind of makes sense, right? Because we're looking back at the same idea as before, right? Bias, momentum, time model, right? And so right now, we have the model present. We have a potential A plus setup with the SMT here, the singular obvious gap. And as long as we get good momentum, it'll be considered A plus, right? Bias is where we start to get a little bit questionable. Are we actually delivering bearish here, right? We can say that, this 2 minute would be us inversing bullish fair value gaps, right? Which confirms bearish delivery. But that's only on one specific fair value gap that happened on. And we're technically still respecting like this 5 down here. So like in terms of like getting confirmed bearish delivery, like this isn't that great just on its own, right? What would be better is if we had confluences to pair with that delivery that like would make it better, right? And those confluences are usually higher time frame for value gaps that we're rejecting from. So like an hourly here, like we have. So that's good. And then the other confluences are going to be like any other, SMTs or like 50%. So we do have a couple confluences. So like overall, like delivery here isn't horrible. Okay. We also need a good draw on liquidity, which our draw on liquidity right now like isn't horrible, but it definitely could be better. This is probably like the fifth best draw on liquidity in our hierarchy of draws. External low. So overall, like bias here is like pretty meh. And so when we have like meh bias, meh momentum, we're outside of the time that we would usually see price reverse at. And we're not really getting a whole lot of momentum through this gap. I'm probably just going to sit out. But if we started to get, like a little bit better momentum, or we came up and got, this final stab at the high here, tap 50%, and then a short leg, that could be good. Okay, Mikey. For sure, for sure. Why are we so bearish though? The reason why we're bearish is because we are in a hourly SIBI and we have this hourly low to the left here that it would kind of make sense for us to come down to, because we inverse this hourly BPR to the left here, right? I mean, technically, we're just seeing price continue to be, bullish here and continue to deliver bullish out of the gap. But there's 50. We still haven't even gotten like a bullish setup, as far as an IFG yet. So not even really anything that we've missed out on. We're just kind of, waiting. So there's 50. Yeah, for sure, Suds. Yep. 30-second maybe. Yeah, we might get a 1 minute here too. So I'm going to take 50% off the charts since that got hit. And then if this is a void, like Dodgy said it could be, it would make sense for price to come up to this second high here. If we reject from here and we get this inverse, that could be good because we've hit 50%. No, Elite. Nope, SMTs only occur at liquidity targets, not like fib targets. 30-second looks fire. Yeah, it doesn't look horrible. We get a good V-shape short here. I'm down with that. But I think we're just going to keep delivering bullish. I feel like we're probably just going to respect this and see price continue to go higher. We might just retrace the entire move, honestly. What do I think of the ORB? I don't know. I don't really use ORBs. Hey, how we feel about a hog cycle? Is that still valid? Yeah, 2.6. I forget what I used to run. I used to run like oh god. I used to run Goblin Barrel. Dude, that meta for a while when it was like the Goblin Drill or whatever, and you just spam that was fun. You could do like Graveyard, Goblin Drill, um I don't know, whatever. Oh my gosh, crossbow. What are you talking about? Don't worry about it, Steve. We do have a 1 minute here. I think I'd rather use the 1 minute than the 30-second. Offers a little bit better of a stop loss here for this trade, and it's in the higher time frame, so it'll be more significant if that gets inversed, and it aligns with that close on the 30-second too. So if we see the 1 minute get inversed, the 30-second will also be inversed. Let me actually. Oh, I don't think I have it installed anymore, but I want to see what my last deck was.
I used to buy the battle pass for that game. Do I have a clan? No, I'm not actually. I don't. I haven't touched that game in probably a year and a half. I'll play it like every 5 years for like, maybe a couple of months, and then I'll quit again. Dodgy like is a grinder on it though apparently. Where do I set hard stops? Usually at the low or high. It just kind of depends. But most of the time it's a manual stop out. Yeah, 2 minutes fine too. I think it's still based off the one, but yeah, 2 minutes fine here. Volume looks so dead. I think volume's okay. We're actually ever since like the middle of the end of the macro year, it's been okay. We're forming 1 minutes at least now. What's the risk on this? 22 points. So you can days with like 4 or 5 micros. If you're risking 200. Target the low there is 4R. Target down here is 242 points. 10R. Where would TP be? TP would probably be at 1R. That would be first TP. So if 1R is this low there, then probably there. It's just about. So yeah, you could TP 1R at like the 1 minute for value gap here or whatever. I probably won't TP 1R until down here. I don't know. There's no roadblock in the way here. This will be the last roadblock, so we want to definitely go break even there. You calculate stop loss by the IFG size? Yep, because if price comes back up and we close back above the IFG, then that would be the stop out. That's just how Dodgy takes the stop. That's how I take the stop. And then that's considered a manual stop, so you don't set a hard stop here. You just set like a mental stop. And then if you want, you can set a hard stop up here, because if price violates this high again, it's most likely going to cause the play to fail regardless. And so this would be for like usually news cases, or if we have like the bias like really wrong, which is like really, really uncommon. But yeah, sometimes news will just randomly appear, like if Trump says something about a tariff or whatever, and so it's best to have a hard stop in that scenario. Where's break even for this play? Just this low down here again. Right. It's a 915, it looks like. You consider IFG valid if it's been tapped a few times before inversing? Yeah, for sure. Why does your 1 minute look like that? I don't know. With a VI? Try refreshing, maybe. I'd probably give this like an A setup. Momentum is kind of what's killing it for me, but I think it's pretty good. Hopefully we get the close like right here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we got the close. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Wait. Alright, whatever. Dude, I like, you know how Tradeovate's been deleting my account groups over the last couple days? When I tried entering there, the account group was missing. So I had to make it real quick. Yeah, we got this last 30-second. I guess we have to break too. So hopefully we just inverse that and we go. We do have an SMT at the low, by the way, here, guys. So hopefully that doesn't really have any significance. I'm really starting to like the energy of these candles here. Okay, so I'm going break even there. We got a banger. Let's go. All right. And now we just want to. You can either take profit here because this is like basically 1R, or you can try holding for a lower target. That's not 1R. I think it is on the 1 minute time frame. Oh yeah, it's a little bit worse than 1R. My bad. So never mind. There really shouldn't be any reason why this should stop. I mean, obviously, we're running into that gap there. So once we break this gap, we should just dump. Like very, very hard. No. No, it's a break even. No. That's okay. Oh well, that's probably going to be like one of the only setups of the day. I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky, but damn. Okay. That was a fire trade, guys. That was good. How many of you took that? Yeah, I mean, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. There was no SMT. Why would I take that? Because 50% was tapped, and we had good momentum through the close, and we had a singular gap, and we had bias, and I don't know. I thought it was good. Okay, so looks like we're souping this low, and we're kind of V-shaping up out of this gap to the left here. So in my mind, we're still technically delivering bullish then. Like, this is technically a long setup. I don't know what your draw on liquidity is, but this is like mechanically A+. Subjectively, it's like B. I'm not going to be taking this one. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a healthy long. Maybe we get another re-entry, but I think the only way we get that is if we inverse this 2 minute here. I think this is the gap that's holding at price. It's the gap that sent us higher. So I think the only way that we get a short here is if we inverse this 2. As long as we're still holding this, we'll probably be bullish. So that's kind of my thoughts. But yeah, obviously the break even saves us. I mean, you always want to, go break even on these trades. I mean, technically, when we see this 1 minute fail here, it'll be the close above this, but already horrible reaction after taking the low. So overall, I'm okay with that. That was fine. We did take a break even trade. For sure, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, break even really saved us. You took this 2 minute. Are you dumb? I don't think so. I think this is a mechanically A plus setup. Like I said, I just think subjectively it's probably not that great because I don't know what your draw on liquidity is here. I mean, maybe it's this unfilled void up here. And I mean that's a really bullish reaction. Good soup, right? Like, do you guys see what a soup looks like? We talked about it earlier, but this is literally a soup. 50% of opening range gap is draw, maybe. Still at least 1R along with the 2 minute. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, if we had the high here, that'd be a good take profit for the long. Where do you put your hard stops? Usually at the highs or lows of whatever swing I'm entering on. So in this case, my hard stop was set up here, and then for this long, it would be set like down there. I'm new. Can you explain what a soup is and why it's important? Yeah, so it's basically just zero displacement below a low or above a high after a liquidity sweep. So in this case, this liquidity sweep occurred at 10:11, where we had probably a bunch of stop orders here on anyone that was trying to long to 50%.
And so price came down, ran out those stop orders, and then there was no displacement below this low. Do you see how price didn't even close below it? In that scenario, that's a soup. And the reason why that's important is because it's a key signature in price for when price is anticipating a reversal. It's the first, like PD array in like the life cycle of a reversal, if that makes sense, right? So usually, like every single time we reverse, it starts with a turtle soup, and then we get like an order block, and then we get like an FEG, and then an IFEG, and then we get a liquidity sweep, and then we just do that over and over and over again. I probably missed something in there, but yeah, there's like a life cycle to a reversal. And that's the first step, is that liquidity sweep. And then the second step there was the order block. Third step was the FEG/IFEG, and then final step is just, running to liquidity. Check 1 hour, CIBI, CE. Yeah, so we've already hit 50%. Corey, if you want me to look at like the CE of the hourly gap, we can do that too. But I don't really look at consequent encroachment, to be honest, for gaps. I don't really think they're that good draws of liquidity, but we did just hit it, so I guess that's interesting. Can I explain CIBI? Yeah, bearish for value gap. Got my $100 day times 2 for MFFU logging off for sure, Robbie. For sure. 2 minute after we sweep the high there, maybe. I don't know. I feel like this is just starting to get kind of choppy. It might be best if we wait for a macro time before we try and take another trade here, guys. I don't really like, when price is like violating bearish and bullish for value gaps both ways. And then I really don't like when price is failing to take liquidity after getting an inverse. So this 1 minute would have probably been a break-even trade. You go break-even there at that 981. Maybe you scale that 1 hour there, but I think I would have tried to target liquidity, and we just didn't hit. W, Johnny, W. The fact that 1 minute long was break even is crazy. Yep. All right, so I guess we're inversing this back down. This doesn't really meet the model criteria. We're outside of the macro. Momentum is good. Bias is kind of all over the place because delivery hasn't been confirmed. So I'm going to wait for this 2 minute gap here to get inversed. But yeah, subjectively, this is a questionable setup and mechanically. For sure. Delivery is not that great, correct, Zevo? Yeah, so I'm going to be waiting for this 2 minute gap, right? I have it marked here. Will I take the 2 minute inverse? Maybe I'll try another stab at it, for sure. For sure. Not this 2 minute up here, not the 1022, but maybe this like 1004 one. This is a 2 minute BPR. Could this be a good place to short if it breaks? I don't think so, because the delivery right now is kind of all over the place. Usually the best fair value gaps to take short or long are ones that are used, respected, and take us to higher highs or lower lows. This 1 minute that we formed here didn't really do that. We never came back and tapped into it and sent price to the liquidity target. And we instantly rejected it, which tells me that this isn't a very strong fair value gap. And so I feel like this setup has a higher likelihood of failing than it does like succeeding. And we're also struggling to take liquidity right now. We got lucky with the soup, but this high never even got hit. So yeah, the 2 minute didn't close here. I don't know. I think it's best to keep waiting. What is a BPR? A balanced price range. It's like when a fair value gap, like a bearish one or a bullish one, overlaps another bearish or bullish fair value gap. Right, so we have a bearish fair value gap at 1019 here, and then a bullish one at 1023. Would this be targeting protected low? No, because this low is inside of her value gap. Maybe on the 2 minute. Yeah, so protected low technically on the 2 minute. So yeah, technically, yeah, taking a short here would be targeting a protected low. Correct. Good eye, good eye. So yeah, already like not a great sign. I mean, obviously the 2 minute did an inverse here, but 1 minute inverse back up after violating a 1 minute to the downside. This is just choppy bad PA. Where would you break even on that 2 minute short? At the low. This one up here. On this one, I'd probably break even at
4, but like honestly, there's not really a good break even point here. The best break even point is probably this 30-second low inside the gap. So maybe I'll break even at this 865 level, but that's kind of far. So maybe I'll just go break even at 1R, which would be like probably around 880. So maybe, yeah, that low, that initial low here. Maybe this is where I take first TP is at 865. That 2 minute overlaps to the 5. Oh, true. So yeah, maybe we're just delivering bullish here still, and Price just wanted to come back to this 5 minute gap, test it, and then head back up, right? And that's why this 1 minute short right now worked, was because, you know, we just had to go back for that 5 minute. So maybe it really is going to come down to this 5 minute here, or maybe it's going to come down to this 2 minute. I don't know. We'll see. It's probably not going to matter if we have good momentum. Thanks, Deli. You're my my princess in pink dress. Enjoy your weekend, bro. I'm done. All right, enjoy your long weekend, DR. Yeah, maybe Eli. I don't know. I gotta build my couch tonight. It should take me a few hours. I'm excited. Pics, yeah, I'll send pics when I'm done with it. Um, this is the couch we got. This is basically it. We can turn it into this kind of setup too. So that'll be cool. How reliable are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I like to think I'm pretty reliable. I'd say like a 9. How long have I been trading? I've been trading options for 5 years, and I've been trading futures for a little bit over 2. Why no Gorilla Couch? That one was a little out of the budget. You went to the Terracotta the other day? Yeah, Evo, apparently there's like issues with like the fabric, but it should be okay. Lincoln, you have a love sack and you hate it? Why? Oh, you went to see the Chinese Terracotta. Oh, very cool. How did you get your nickname? This is going to sound so dorky and horrible, but when I was grinding for like teams or whatever for playing Fortnite professionally, I was trying to think of a creative name that would like sound good with like a gamer like clan tag associated with it. So like, you know, if you're thinking like Optic Reliable or like something like that, and I figured like that sounded good, right? You know, kind of aligned with, you know, what I believed in, you know, being a reliable person. I don't know. So that was kind of the idea. You got a YouTube? I do, yeah. So all of the trade highlights and stuff are posted there. Should have copied this? Yeah, I guess so. How's the couch? I haven't built it yet, so we'll see. But I think all the boxes are here. I was trying out for overtime, Eli. I actually was like one of the top 2 picks, and then I just was second pick. Do you think 2.5 years of trading is a long time to go break even in your trading career? I mean, kind of, but then again, you're going to school for 4 years, so probably not. What do I play now? I play Fortnite still. Play a little bit of Fortnite. Um, I play a lot of this game called Catan. I'm actually like ranked globally in that game. There's like a website for it, and I'm trying to get to first in Michigan. Um, but like right now, I'm like, yeah, colonist pay. Yep. You watch Invincible? Yeah, I finished the season. Pay, I absolutely love Catan. Shoot me a DM and we can play sometime. Soup to high and inverse the only thing I want now? Yeah, probably KZ. But honestly, I don't know. I think I'd still rather just wait for this 2 minute here. This is really what's confirming bullish delivery. We're still respecting this 2 minute here. I just think delivery is bullish overall. I think we got like lucky with this short here, you know, coming down because we had this 5 minute gap that needed to be
rebalanced. But once that was rebalanced, I think we're just going to slow grind up and fill in these voids, kind of like Dodgy was saying. You ever play Civ 5? No, I've never gotten into the Civ games. Am I on Steam? Yeah, I am, but I have like a bunch of different Steam accounts, and I don't really go on Steam that often. A plus, the soup? I don't think so, because I think technically delivery's bullish right now, Morik. And I feel like if we were to soup something, it should be like existing liquidity. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, go for it. It's a high inside a gap, but I think it makes sense to come up to this gap up here first, maybe. So maybe, we see a short from there instead. Serious question. Why do I do better in a singular account when copy trading I below them? It sounds like you just have like psychological issues that you need to address. What about Fort YouTube? I don't really have a Fort YouTube, but I have a bunch of saved clips or whatever. That would be fun maybe to go through in voice chat sometime. We got some LRLR forming. Yeah, kinda. I would want to see more taps of the trend line here, but yeah. Wait, what? That's so funny. Joe, I just saw your message. Wait, that's hysterical. That's so funny. What is the opposite of reliable? Oh, nah. Oh, nah. Oh, that's funny. Nah, that's got to be like the universe or something, man. That's crazy. Is it better to use TradeEvade or TradingView as a broker for MFFU? I mean, it's up to you. I think TradeEvade is better, though. TradeEvade, I feel like I can see the candle refresh rate a lot better than on TradingView. There's usually like a little bit of delay. Am I getting off at 11? Probably. Because I got to stream at 1:30 and I got to see what's going on with my girlfriend and whatever. Took three for three. Vignesh, what did you take today? Did you take the longs? What do I think? I don't know, bro. The thing is, that's just not my model. So, like, maybe, but I've never back tested it, so I have no idea if that's a profitable setup or not. Yeah, exactly, Jacob. I like TradeEvade because you really get a feel for how the candles are printing. Are those highs protected? No, they're not. Nah, we could run them again for sure. Lots of chicken biryani for you? I hear that's like the best dish for Indian cuisine. Is that true? What are protected highs reliable? Yeah, it's just a high that's been swept without being closed over. That's inside of a fair value gap. So kind of like this one here on the 2-minute. We swept out a low, and then we didn't close below it, and then we wicked below it, right? So we swept the liquidity, but we didn't close below it, and it's inside of a fair value gap. So this is technically a protected low. The way that it will no longer become protected is if we take out a buy side liquidity. So in this case, it would be like this high at 994, and then we could come back and retarget that low again. You like tandoori chicken? Lamb korma with keema naan? Okay. My girl doesn't like Indian cuisine, but I do. She's a butter chicken girl. Can you please repeat protected high / low one more time? All right, this will be the 4th time, but I got you forever. So basically, it's whenever we create a low inside of a fair value gap or a high inside of a fair value gap, and then we resweep that low, but we don't close below it. That is the creation of a protected low or protected high. And then in order to not make it protected anymore, we have to go and sweep out either buy side if it's bearish protected low, or sell side if it's a bullish protected low. Or not bullish, but I don't know. You know what I mean. Protected low or protected high. Yeah, Robin, I've seen those butter chicken pizzas. They look pretty good. That sounds like New York cuisine, though. Heads or tails? Tails, I long 5 minutes right now. Heads, bro, I'm not. I pick the coin lands on the side of the coin. That's what I pick. Can I explain what an IVG? All right, Jiu-Jitsu. You just had a one-on-one and you couldn't figure that one out? Come on, man. Jacob, same thing as protected low, just opposite side. Nah, I know you were. I was just trolling you back. Can I explain candlesticks and trend lines? Yeah, so basically, the way that a candlestick forms is you have like this open and this high and then a low and then a close, right? And um, basically, it's like power of three, where like whenever you see an entry, we have this tendency to create like a wick low and then like a body and then like a wick high, right? And so that's like a candlestick. Can I explain it in Fortnite terms? Okay, so like basically, okay, so a protected low in Fortnite terms would be like when somebody's on height in endgame and you don't have any shockwaves, you basically have to wait to find shockwaves on like a dead body before you can go for high ground. Does that make sense? Nah, I can't trade for it. So yeah, no shorts yet. Just chilling, waiting for price to do something. This LRLR being formed is good for maybe a long at 1050 or something. Yeah, maybe, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of thinking we're just not going to get anything. I mean, the only way that I would take a long maybe is if we came down, swept out this low, and then got a V shape and targeted the LRLR, but it doesn't make sense to go take out this low until we take out the high, which if we take out buy side before getting the long, then obviously I'm not going to take it, right? Because this is a protected low. See the problem, Vert? Yeah, it's protected, so like we need to see this high get hit technically. Guys, you don't have to trade today. Exactly. You know, honestly, like I'm probably just gonna wait for PM before I take a trade. But honestly, I hate trading Friday PM. I think Friday PM is similar to like Monday no news. It's just not that high probability in terms of like time to trade. And so this might be a no trade day for me, and I'm okay with that because I'm already very green on the week. You know, I had a banger options trade yesterday that I took during AM. I had a bunch of good PM trades this week. So, do I trade PM every day? Almost every day. We skip every other Friday. So this Friday will be on, but next Friday will be off. So it'll only be a 3-day week for me next week, which will be pretty good. I had a banger week today after a rough last week, so I'm done for the week. Awesome. Yeah, jiu-jitsu. That's good. Should I do a survey feedback form today? One, sure. I don't know. I mean, do we really have to? I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's only if like there's actual feedback. Does anybody actually want to provide feedback? Like, I guess if you do, just throw it in the chat. If you'd rather do it anonymously, then I'll open it up. What feedback do we need? I don't know.
You got any videos on trading options? I don't, but there's like a million and one resources online for trading options. Basically, just learn how the Greeks work and how they interact with fluctuations in the price of the option, and you'll be in good shape. And then just keep trading like pretty normal as far as IFGs. I really like trading 0 days towards the end of the day on options because you catch these nice moves, and there's like really low premiums on time and whatever, obviously because they're expiring very shortly. But you can catch like basically like the previous hourly high to previous hourly low move. Sometimes you can catch the 350 move on options, and that's nice. But yeah, PM trading options is probably better than AM because the premiums during AM are a little bit higher. But yeah, I usually try to wait for like low IV options, 0 days, and just try and catch like good macro moves, and that usually pays, right? Because I'm taking advantage of the volatility there. Do I play chess? I play a little bit of chess. I'm probably like an 800 rating. I'm not that good. My dad taught me how to play, and I never really like learned like openings or anything like that. I just kind of do whatever. Would you mind if I DM you about some options questions? I've been looking into it lately. Honestly, futures is probably all you need. I only trade options for fun sometimes, so it's kind of up to you. But futures is better than options because you don't have to deal with like time as a function of like consideration for taking a trade, right? With options you have to consider time, so it's a lot more difficult. What's the YouTube? It's I don't know what it is actually. I think it's just NQ Reliable. Yeah, most people sell options. True. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we might get a play, towards the end of the stream here. We do have an SMT at the high here. If we were to get like the 2-minute inverse now, we don't. I don't think we really need to see price hit this high in order for this no longer to be protected. I feel like we've already broken that with the SMT. So if we got like the 2-minute inverse now, that could make sense. Yeah, for swinging positions, Agile for sure. Like when we got that initial dump from like the Trump tariffs or whatever, I actually shorted the daily inverse on options, and I made some decent profit on that. It's good. I like doing it in my Roth, honestly, which is kind of risky, but I don't take like massive positions. Yeah, difficult to put stop loss in options because you have to factor in theta decay and the actual like price moves themselves. Yeah, for sure, trades with decay. Yeah. How do you size up your accounts? Just build it up over time. Just consistent basics. What did I study in college? I studied the same thing as Dodgy, actually. I studied cybersecurity, and then I also studied management information systems. I was a dual major. I finished school in about 3 years. When is the MFFU sale in? I believe Saturday night. Same TV. Same. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, it was just coming out like my last year, so like it wasn't even that good. But am I doing PM? Yep. Just got another MFFU starter. Bet. We can trade during PM. Currently doing pre-med, which is just not happening. Yeah, hopefully trading works out. Pre-med sounds horrible. It's like 10 years of like poverty wages, right? And then finally, you start making like good money after that. Wait, you are not? No, I am. I am, Johnny. Well, it's true, right? Isn't it like if you're what are the people that like aren't actually doctors but they're like students and they like help out? What are they called? Residency? Yeah, isn't residency you get paid like maybe 50K or 40K or something? Yeah. I guess it's not poverty, but it's like it's definitely paycheck to paycheck now in these, you know, economic conditions. Yep. Momentum and SMT at macro. We don't really have momentum yet. We're struggling to form 1 minute for rally ups again. This is still really bad PA. So We'll see. We are in the macro now. Is the first 2 minute good? I don't think so. I think it's okay, but I think actually the 2 minute here isn't horrible now because we've used it and respected it a few times, and we sent price to a higher high technically. So I don't know. I mean, it's okay. We'll see. Yeah, you could always go be a medic in the military vert. No worst case scenario. Do I ever stream AM outside of subbing for Dodgy or nah? I mostly it's just subbing in for Dodgy. Rather start no. Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll see if this 2 minute works. I'm liking the momentum. 2 minute won't close now for another 2 minutes though, so we just gotta keep waiting here. Why don't you care we didn't take the high? Because we have an SMT at the high. So there is a bearish SMT here. So ES already swept it. Oops, why didn't... There we go. 5 minute looks... Yeah, it doesn't look great. Do I trade props mainly? Yes. Yep. This looks mid. Yeah, it doesn't look great. Maybe this is like... this is probably something Dodgy would take on like a prop account, not as live. Maybe this is like an eval trade. I do like that it's in the macro, so we have time. We have decent momentum here. I usually like 5 points per minute. This is like well over that. And we have bias here as long as delivery's good. So we have another minute before the close here. And we do have the model. You know, we have that SMT. So like technically, I would say this is an A setup. You know, just in the context of price action before. I think it's decent. If the 5 minute inverses, do you have to worry about the 5 minute below it? Is there a 5 minute here? Oh, you meant this one. And this one. Nah, I don't think so. So let's see, I guess we get the 2 minute inverse here. Do we have like a 30-second or something that I should worry about? Not really, it's just this 2 minute. Yeah. Alright, well, not going to be a convincing close, I don't think. We got another 20 seconds. Maybe we get the close. If this isn't a convincing close, I hate taking trades like that. Because, like, you're entering on, like, a green candle. I mean, that close isn't great. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't seem great. This is, like, definitely, like, you know, where you might want to take a retrace entry just for even better risk reward. But I don't know. I'm not going to enter here, I don't think. I'm not going to try and force a trade if the close is like that. Shorting a protected low is... I don't think it's protected anymore, Xylix, because we have an SMT at the high there. So technically we took out buy side, which is all you need for a protected low. Okay, 2 minute cook. 2 minute cook. Maybe this isn't horrible. The risk reward, honestly. Oh, it's 25 points, but that's not horrible. I think you should be in from here, honestly, if you're trying to short this. Like, that's fine. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna end the day, you know, whatever. I don't really like this close. If this close would have been better, I would have taken this for sure. But yeah, I mean, this is fine. You're just taking the second inverse when you should be eating off the first. This first one is technically a fine inverse. Like, there's nothing. It's an A setup. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just the close was bad. So maybe with a better close here, that's fine. What would make it A plus? What would have made it A plus is if like we'd gotten like that instant V shape. This just isn't V shape, right? This is like all over the place shape. So there's a better close. This is decent. This is an A setup. This is an eval trade, right? Yeah, no, I wouldn't say this is a live trade. This is probably something Dodgy would take on like a prop account. This feels very like prop account trade for Dodgy. Peyton is typing. What's going on, Peyton? Do I stay on PAs or go live on Apex? I stay mostly on PAs. I haven't been pushed to live yet on Apex. But yeah, so this is like that first inverse at the extremity of the range, and then this would be like the second one. I normally like taking that first inverse. So I think because we got the more convincing close there, it's fine if you're in this. Is going live on Apex not a choice? Yeah, you just kind of get pushed to live. But yeah, I'm not in this. I'm just chilling. I'll probably wait for PM to take a trade. This price action is just not really that inspiring to me. It's not really like crazy. I mean, I like the macro kind of cleaned up a little, but you know, it is what it is. When do you go to live on Apex? I think it's after a certain number of payouts or profitable days. Free PM today? Probably not. Trade Friday, to be honest. Took too many good trades to risk it on Friday. Yeah, for sure, Zebby. That makes sense. 2 minutes, a 1 hour candle close. We manipulate up, then enter. Maybe. Usually, how good PA is Friday PM? Normally, it's not that good, to be honest. Okay, so this 2 minute is still valid. We're still cooking with it. Looks like we're about to hit that break even. What time did you stop looking for trades in AM session? Normally I stop after 11:10. Alright, so there's the break even for the 2 minute short. And technically you could do first TP there because that's a low inside the gap. And I believe it's 1-1 away. So there's that. And then next target would be like probably down here. But yeah. I guess how many people took this short? Ooh, so a lot less. Oh, okay. No, it was just updating. So less people. That makes sense. Waiting for the lower 2 minute. Okay. I feel like this one was fine as it was. Just the close got me a little concerned. But yeah, once we started to like make lower closes below it, like this candle close kind of convinced me otherwise. Yeah, this chopped at 50%. Right? I don't know. I guess we engineered liquidity here, this low inside the gap. So here comes 11. We did not see that close below the 2 minute there. And looks like unless you scaled there, it probably was a break even. So maybe not. Maybe if you got like a really good entry, you're still in this. Um, okay. So let's see. 30-second long. Yeah, this is like the same one as this one, just mechanically it's fine, but subjectively like I wouldn't take it. Actually, I think this one's worse because the price conditions beforehand weren't that great. We're not really forming 1 minute. This was a 1 minute for value gap, so that makes it a little bit better. But yeah, nah. So I guess we'll keep an eye on this. If this trade goes break even, that's probably yeah. So break even on that. So I have no FOMO from either of those trades because both of them ended up being break evens. I don't think I would have scaled it this low. I would have tried holding for the home run, so I'm okay with that. You sound like what I imagine Gert sounds like. Bro, what? Bro, get off TikTok, Carlo. Come on, man. Focus on the oh my god. You guys need to get off social media. What's the next potential setup? The next potential setup is to go touch grass, I think. I appreciate you guys all for the kind words today. I'll catch all of you for PM here. Should I do an outro song? Here, let me find an outro song. Oh yeah, this is a good one. All right, we're gonna go with this one. All right. I'm waiting for the ad and then we'll play it.